So welcome everyone. Today is January the 18th. This is our All Lives Matter call with Dr. Alexander Loyd and Dr. David Peck. Myself, Johanna Chan, will be assisting them today. Before we hear from them, though, I want to share this disclaimer. This presentation is for education and informational purposes only, and since we're going to be talking about issues of health and well-being, we wanted to make sure that you understand this information is not intended to heal or cure anything. Everything in the presentation are the opinions of Dr. Alex Loyd, Dr. David Peck, myself, or you if you choose to share. You should always check with a licensed healthcare provider about any specific health concerns you may have. All right, guys, take it away.
Thank you so much, Johanna. I'm Alex Loyd. The good-looking guy in the yellow raincoat is Dr. David Peck. I don't know if that's a raincoat or not.
It is a raincoat. Yeah, it's like a I got it on as I was driving at a truck stop. It was. Cool. Yeah, it's for fluorescent.
I've got a ski jacket that looks a lot like that. I like it.
Anyway, a lot of comments on it.
Anyway,
so it's really loud. Basically, that it's really loud.
Well, okay. Some people like loud, like me. All right. Anyway, he's David Peck, double board certified surgeon, and we are here for one reason: to try to help 1 million to 1 billion people increase their emotional well-being by 100% or more in 12 months or less. And we believe we can give you all the tools you need to do that without you having to spend a penny. So that's why we're here. All the calls are posted. Every one of them has a custom healing intervention that we formulated for that. And we don't ask you to follow us. We ask you to join us. And if there's people that you care about, hey, why not invite them to increase their emotional well-being by 100% or more in the next 12 months? Do you believe that will change their life any? And my response to that is there's no way it would not change their life. It's impossible.
And if I could jump in from it, another way of looking at this is being freed or being released from emotional bondage,
right,
or slavery in a way that we're slaves to our emotions, and we want to free people so that they can access their most authentic self, and which will allow them to more frequently act and choose love.
Amen. Yeah, that's right. And beautifully put, Dave. And to give you an idea what kind of an issue this is in our world today that has dramatically changed in the last 3 years, emotional well-being before COVID was a top 50 in the world issue. Okay, you got that? Top 50. Today it's top 5.
Good.
The World Health Organization and the United Nations have both released statements saying that anxiety and depression pre-COVID were at about 7 and 9% of the population. New research at the end of COVID up to today is saying that the percentage of people who now are experiencing anxiety and depression that's holding them back in their life, even if it wouldn't qualify for an official diagnosis, is around 60%, from 7 to 9% to about 60% of the entire population. We have never seen a shift like that. I mean, you're talking like dinosaurs to no dinosaurs kind of shift. That is, you're talking about something that took thousands of years that it's been top 50, and in 3 years, it goes to top 5 and increases by over 10 times the number of people suffering with it.
And if I can jump in there, and that not to minimize what the WHO is saying because that could be valid information, but my point would be that actually what's happening with the COVID and everything, it's that it's uncovered, and it's sort of it's
yes.
augmented what has always been there. And in fact, I would go so far as to go way beyond 60%. I would go 80, 90% when it really comes down to it, because the majority of people, if you ask them, oh yeah, I'm fine, you know, etc.
Right.
And then you really look into it, and it's not like that. Anyway,
David, you're absolutely 100% right. And that's a critical point. I can't believe I left that out. That is a critical point. And I agree with you. I believe it's uncovered more the way things already were, because people now are so desperate. They're not acting anymore. They're not trying to hide it. They're saying, help, I'm drowning. I need help. So that's where we are. Okay, let's get to today, Dave.
okay.
David, this week came up with another. I don't know how you keep doing this. Maybe it's
Magic. No, it's magic. It's magic.
Okay, it's magic. But anyway, the topic issue for today is systemic exploitation. And oh my goodness, this is huge. I used to specialize in marriage counseling when I first got started. And relationship, because I thought relationships were what were most important. And Dave, I have never seen a relationship problem where there was not some form of exploitation going on. And if you could stop the exploitation, very often it would heal the whole relationship. So do you want to start on this, or do you want me to start on it?
I mean, go ahead. No, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, you have.
Okay.
I was just gonna, yeah, no, go ahead.
Let me give you an example. And this is a very common thing, not only for me and my wife, but most of the couples I've counseled, etc. Okay. And let's say this is me talking to Hope, my wife. Okay. All right. You got that? And we're just around the kitchen doing stuff. No big deal. And I remark, boy, that garbage is really overflowing, isn't it? And that's it. Well, there's a possibility, maybe 10% or less, that is just an honest observation. There's a 90% chance that the reason I'm saying that is to try to manipulate Hope to empty the garbage. Okay? That's called, ladies and gentlemen, that's called passive aggressive. Okay? And it is absolutely manipulation, and or an attempt to manipulate. And by the way, there's probably a 99% chance that when she hears that, she knows I'm trying to manipulate her. Mm-hmm. And now she feels frustration, irritation, anger. So now I've set off a domino that's going to knock over other dominoes that could end anywhere. It could end in divorce. It could end in unfaithfulness. It could end in yelling and screaming. It could end in me in Hope saying another mocking comment, knowing that that's not an honest comment by me. I'm trying to manipulate her. So she shoots something back at me, and then I react to that. And now you've got this crazy domino explosion that happened. And it all started with an attempt to exploit someone else, to manipulate someone else, rather than just being what I call speak the truth in love, which would be more like, Hope, the garbage is overflowing, and I know that's your job usually. Would you like me to take care of that? I'm not trying to guilt you or anything. I'm just, it needs to be emptied. And if you can't do it right now, I'm happy to do it. That would be more a truth and love based response that is not trying to manipulate or exploit. Okay. But anything really that I say that is designed to get Hope to take the garbage out, unless it's just direct and the truth like that, spoken kindly, is probably an attempt by me to manipulate her, to get her to do something that I don't want to do. Okay. Well, what do we call that? It's selfishness. It's selfishness, pure and simple. Okay. That's not love. It's the opposite of love. All right. And in my experience, in most relationships, not just husband and wife, usually at some point from some person, this exploitation and manipulation rears its head. And when it does, you've got to stop it right then and there with the truth in love, or you run the risk of the negative domino explosion. Okay? So add to that, Dave. What you were thinking?
Yeah. Wow. So
Can I add a Post-it note?
Yeah, sure.
Sorry. That's passive aggressive. There's also aggressive, which is, it is your job to take that garbage out. I can't believe it's overflowing again. Okay, now that's aggressive. All right. And either one of those are wrong and can lead to the domino explosion. All right. Go ahead, Dave.
Okay. So yeah, I looked up the definition. It says exploitation, to use someone unfairly for one's own benefit. Okay.
Right.
So my own example is sort of being used as sort of like a prop, basically growing up, sort of like show them off your children. And I'd use the same thing. And this is usually for some kind of to maintain a social imaging or something like that. But the point what I wanted to say was that I believe our society and our culture, especially business culture, has led to a situation where exploitation is really, not only is it encouraged, but it's expected in a way.
Yeah.
And the driving forces behind that, sort of, I look at it sort of as the big lie that drives all this, is that, that there's scarcity. And this goes into the deprivation also, we were talking about before. There's not enough. So you have to compete with people. You have to grab something, you have to exploit stuff when you can, because, otherwise you'll be left out in the cold or something like that. And this is the whole idea of this, we learned about this thing called the zero-sum game, where, if someone gets something, someone else has to lose. Well, no, actually there's something called win-win-win. That's really what we want. There doesn't even have to be a loser half the time when the things that we're talking about, not like a comp sports or something like that. So I'm not blaming the system, but I'm really pointing at the system as the source in large part of what's driving us to be exploitative, so, anyway, I wanted to hear your thoughts on that, because, I feel that is a really, it's pervasive, and it's like, there's plenty to eat, we don't need to depopulate the world or something like that.
David, it's really amazing to me. Every time we talk about one of these topics, and ladies and gentlemen, when we do one of these, David and I have not been speaking before this event about what we're going to say. We don't have any idea what each other.
Just briefly, just some basic concepts. Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. Right. But we've not discussed with each other how we're seeing this until we're live, right on the spot. And you always bring up an aspect that I missed. It's amazing to me. And sometimes it's one I've never thought of. And what you just said is one of those, and it's brilliant. And you're right. In the business world, and even in the not business, but just sort of, you might say, the world of success.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily, I agree with your scarcity thing, but I think the scarcity thing sometimes is an illusion. And what it really is, it's that a person, let's say there's the top of the heap, which is like a famous movie star. And then there's the bottom of the heap that maybe is someone who, for their profession, they collect garbage or something, which to me is a totally honorable profession. Okay. But So you have sort of two extremes of the way the average person sees success and failure. Now, that's not accurate. Success and failure is based on the internal heart, not on any money or fame or, I'm sorry, this phone went off. Sorry.
Right. That goes to the humility things that we talked about. Yeah.
Yeah. But what I was going to say that you brought up that really is a brilliant point, David, is that someone might be like almost at the very top. They're doing well. They have friends. They're known. They're, maybe making good money or whatever, but they don't care about that. What they care about is there's one person higher than they are, and they want what that person has. Okay. So it's an illusion of scarcity. It's that I'm not at the very top of the heap. And so I'm going to manipulate whatever I have to do in order to get to the top of the heap. And in our society today, David, a lot of times that is literally applauded and taught as something you should do in order to succeed, basically come hell or high water, regardless of who you hurt doing it. Okay.
Right.
So to me, Dave, that's failure. That's not success. That's failure. So to me, exploitation, even if it ends up with you getting what you thought you wanted, that's failure. You just failed, even if you end up at the top, because you cheated in order to get there. You cheated. You brought someone else down in order to bring yourself up. And to me, spiritually, that's cheating. And it will hurt you and it will hurt the other person. It'll hurt everybody involved.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to do
Yeah. Can you? Yeah.
Okay, so think about this issue for you and say a prayer from your heart. Rate it 0 to 10 or -10 to +10, whatever's more comfortable for you. Go ahead, take a minute and do that. And if you're not done praying, just keep praying while you do it. Let's start with a healing code. Left hand jaw, right hand Adam's apple. Slow, deep breaths from the stomach. Relax as much as you can. Don't try to make anything happen. Get out of the way and allow it to happen. Left hand temple, right hand bridge. Both hands Adam's apple. We want to go from exploiting others, manipulating others, being exploited or manipulated ourselves, to speaking, thinking, and doing the truth and love.
Mm.
Both hands temples.
And always looking for that win-win, right?
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah. Rather than just me win.
I've read that in so many of your books, Alex.
Sorry. Left hand Adam's apple, right hand bridge. Both hands bridge. Left hand bridge, right hand Adam's apple. And by the way, if you're doing this at home, you can repeat the healing code 2 or 3 times if you want. And a lot of people like to do that. Some people like to do the healing codes without trilogy or trilogy without the healing codes. The healing codes are a little more relaxing. Trilogy is a little more active. You can do that. You can do the healing codes 2 or 3 times. You can do the trilogy 2 or 3 times, whatever works for you. But they work on their own as well as together. All right, let's transition to trilogy and do custom acupuncture points. Let's start with side of the hand, temples, little finger, collarbones, under the nose, index finger, under the nipples, under the eyes, thumb, sore spot, chin, middle of the chest, middle finger, nine G. Eyes open, closed, open. Eyes down to the left, down to the right. Circle your eyes. Circle back the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Let's activate governing and conception vessel 4 times in a row, please. 4 times. This is up the center line of the body, the river of energy that flows through the body. Most people call it yin and yang. It's been around for thousands of years, and it calms the central nervous system based on the studies. And any of these can be used on their own as well as in this order to magnify the whole thing. Okay, now custom healing centers. Let's start with throat. Please open and harmonize. If it hurts, you're massaging too hard. Should never hurt. Heart, please open and harmonize. Forehead, please open and harmonize. Crown, please open and harmonize. Base or root on the pubic bone, please open and harmonize. Forehead again, please open and harmonize. Under the belly button, open and harmonize. Middle of the stomach, please open and harmonize. All right, now let's do both hands brainstem. And we're going to go about, 1 or 2 minutes here. And again, you can always go longer if you like to and it feels good to you. Slow, deep breaths from the stomach. You can do 1 code at a time. You can do 3 in a row, whatever feels good to you. I would try to do at least once a day to keep the healing going. But if you miss a day or a week, no guilt, just get back on the horse when you can. And by the way, we have 17 double-blind studies, got the 17th one on Monday, that all validate that this works in a clinical testing situation. All right, both hands over the heart. Slow, deep breaths, one after the other. Let the code process. I would do this at least for 1 minute, longer if you want. Whenever you're ready, take a look at your 0 to 10 or -10 to +10, note any change, and then check it again in 30 minutes. It should be better in 30 minutes than it is now. All right. Johanna, if we have any questions or comments or anything, I've
Okay,
got a few minutes here and we'll do our best.
I've asked Bridget, who had her hand up. Bridget, you want to unmute your line?
Hi, Bridget. Hello.
I
I think Bridget might have herself muted.
Yeah, I'm asking her to unmute.
If you
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey, there you are. Hi, Bridget.
Yeah, hello, Dr. Alex and Dr. David. I want to wish you both a very happy new year. And
too.
I hope you had a wonderful holiday time. This is my first time back since before Christmas.
Oh, great.
So I'm delighted to be back. I just wanted to say, and I've noticed this with the healing codes, I got a custom healing code off Johanna there several weeks ago. I had problems with a certain area of my body, and I discovered that it doesn't work straight away. And it was only today I says, that healing code did work, but it didn't work straight away. As I say, it worked, over time. And I just wanted to make that observation. Has anybody else come across that when they're using the healing code, as I say, you get a bit frustrated because you're saying, gosh, this is not working. But after some time, it does work, and I just wanted to say, has anybody else thought that as well, And the other thing is, Dr. Alex, I love the healing codes. I really, really love the healing codes, but I'm afraid I'm not a big fan of the trilogy. And I was just wondering how do you get in on that? Because like when I'm doing it there with you and Dr. David, I find it very good, I find it very good. But then when I try to do it myself, it doesn't happen. But I do like the healing codes. I try to do them at least 2 to 3 times a day. And one, might be just the basic healing code. And then I do the one that Johanna has given me. And I just, between it all, Dr. Alex, I feel very, very good. And I am spreading the word about the healing codes. I am doing that. And it's coming across to people slowly but surely.
Yeah, and what I would say, Bridget, thank you so much for your comments. What I would say is, try Trilogy or try the healing codes, either one. And
yes.
if you feel like it resonates with you, it's working well for you, then do it. If you feel like it doesn't resonate with you and it's not working for you, that's the biggest one. If it's not working, then I would just do the healing codes and not do the Trilogy. And lots of people do that. And we've got people that do Trilogy and not the healing codes that feel the opposite way. And
right.
for sure have experienced it's not seeming to work right now. I've shared many times I've heard that from at least one or probably hundreds of clients. It's actually hundreds. I'm trying to joke, and that's not a very good joke. But right. I've heard that from hundreds of clients. And my favorite one, I heard that for 2 years and 9 months. It's not working. It's not working. It's not working. It's not working, to the point that she literally accused me of lying and being a fraud and all kinds of stuff. And then at 2 years and 9 months, all 3 of her terminal diseases were gone overnight. and the doctors had no explanation. And she called me and apologized. And I said, well, thank you. You don't need to apologize though, because that's absolutely fine. But my point, the reason I bring that up again is if you're not careful, if you're that person, you think it hasn't worked for 2 years and 9 months. In reality, it's been working every single day. And that's what the medical testing shows. It's just that it took 2 years and 9 months with that person to turn that thing around. You got to remember, it's taken your whole life and even hundreds of years into your ancestry to get to the place you are. It's not like turning a VW Bug around. It's like turning a huge ocean liner around. I mean, for some issues and some people, it just takes some time. But yeah, I've experienced that, and I've spoken to hundreds of others who've experienced that.
Right. Yeah, it can be a little frustrating. And then when you don't pay attention to it, and you say, and as I said today, I says, gosh, you know, that healing code that Johanna gave me definitely has worked, you know, and I want to say thank you to Johanna for that. I remember there a couple of weeks ago, Dr. Alex, you were saying that you work on yourself every day. Do you yourself use the healing codes and the trilogy, or do you favor one over the other? Or
I haven't missed a day in 21 years. It'll be 22 years, April 15th of this year. I've not missed a day. And wow. In almost 22 years. And I do both. I do both every day. And yeah. Can I give you one tip, Bridget?
Yes.
The reason for the frustration is expectation. You're expecting it to do this or that, and you're expecting it to do it quickly. Give up the expectation, and not only will it help the frustration, it'll cause it to work faster.
Correct. You're absolutely correct about that, Dr. Alex. And that is correct.
And I apologize. I've got to run. I'm sorry.
Okay, Dr. Alex, happy
Love you
New
all.
Year to you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Joanne.
Okay, thank you.
God bless you, Alex. All right. So there's another hand up, and I'll unmute her line in just a moment. This is Annie McEnroe. But before that, I wanted to make this announcement before we go any further, so it's on the recording. And that is that if you want to contact us for if you have any questions at all, any kind of support that we can give you there, the email is support@dralexanderloyd.com. Okay, it used to be support@thehealingcodes.com. But there's been issues with that email. So please email us at support@dralexanderloyd.com. And that's going to be the key place to ask us questions or let us know how we can help you. The other thing is there have been some people who have desired to meet each other. So those of you who come every week, there's some of you that want to connect with one another. And if that's the case, please email Cindy at support@dralexanderloyd.com and let us know who you want to connect with, or if you would like to be, connected with other people who also attend these calls. If you're open for that, then we're going to see how we can maybe help you meet someone. We've never actually offered to do that before, but because we've had a couple of people ask, we wanted to go ahead and put it out there and see how many people respond. So again, it's support@dralexanderloyd.com. Okay, so Annie, I'm going to unmute your line, or you can unmute your line. Hi.
Hi, Johanna. Hi, Dr. David. How are you?
Hi, Annie. Hi.
I just wanted to make one comment. Well, I wanted to thank Dr. Loyd for always reminding that whenever you guys do the codes, or he's doing a custom code, is to say, don't try to make it do anything. And I find that so comforting because I'm always trying to make it do something because I think, oh, well, I can make it work faster. I can make it work better if I just think hard enough, concentrate hard enough, can feel something. But when he says that, it just takes all the stress out of it. And I just go, okay, I can actually relax.
Right.
And it's really just learning that it's the energy and, you really just have to let it do what it's going to do when it's going to do it, because we all want, okay, I want immediate healing. I want Jesus to put his hand on me and I'm healed that very moment. But, so I just really appreciate him always saying that whenever he does the code.
Yeah, that's great. Good point.
And I wasn't sure, Johanna, is it possible to get a custom healing code for someone else? Or does that person have to call in? Because I would like to get one for my father, but he's too embarrassed to call in. He won't do it.
No, you can absolutely get one for him. Since there's no other hands up, I'm going to go ahead and mute the call because I'd rather do this personal one-on-one.
Okay.
Without it being posted on YouTube. So just a moment.
Oh, sure. No problem.